Hey everyone, it's Dean from Maven BJJ, back for another lockdown video with my mate Pete here. So today let's go from mount to back. Okay, so instead of doing a submission, we'll go for a transition to a different position. So we're going to start from mount position again. Now, instead of submitting him here, I feel that I may have a better chance if I go to back control. I have some chokes, I have other moves that I might want to try out. So usually with a partner, what you can kind of expect some partners to do is to put both hands on your knee and shrimp away from you, so push their hips away from you. And then if I bring my hips up, we get into this nice position here where I've transitioned, he tries to escape, and I'm now in this position. Because my mate Pete here, while he's very beautiful, he is not the most mobile person. So I need to, with your dummy, you're going to need to position him. So let's force that transition. So I'm going to go across, grab him by the tricep, just like I was setting up an arm bar. But instead of bringing this up, bringing it over, setting up that arm bar position, what we're going to do is, as we bring him up, and he's expecting the armbar because, hey, why wouldn't I try and submit him from here? As I bring him up, I'm going to put his arm to my chest and bringing this arm around his head, pushing his arm down, and I'm catching his wrist here. Okay, so now I'm fully wrapped his head. Now, if I let go of this arm that I was going for the armbar with, I have this position here. And this is a nasty positioning because with the arm across your throat, you're suddenly less able to defend yourself, and it's also quite claustrophobic feeling. He's only really got this to defend himself now, and it's not very nice feeling to him. Now, from here, he's already in angle, but I need him fully on his side to get onto this. I don't want him able to roll onto his back. So from here, we're going to kind of do like a sort of a chainsaw movement. So if I'm trying to take up one of those old chainsaws and go boom, to pull him onto his side, but at the same time, this hand is going to push onto his elbow, and my weight is on him. I'm sat on him right now. So I want to I'm going to go up onto my knees. At the same time, this leg is going to post. And when I say post, that's posting in jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to push, pull, and post at the same time. And now he's fully on his side. Now what I've done is my foot that's posted is wrapped onto his stomach, stopping him from being able to go forward. My leg on the back, don't let go of the wrist, the leg on the back is pinned his back so he can't roll back down and flatten himself out. He's now stuck in this position. And if he gave me the option, if I let go of this arm for some reason and that arm was up, I could step away and get the armbar. But we are going for the back, so we're going to hold on to this position. Okay, we're in this position. He's on his side. I am going to take this free arm. I'm going to go through the gap in his arm underneath, and I'm going to grab my own wrist. Now, what this is why it's called a gift wrap, because it's kind of like the bow and the gift. Okay, the sort of interconnecting of his arm and my arm, and I've got this grip here. Okay. From here, I'm going to go onto my knee again, and I'm going to put my front onto his back, okay? Now, I want to try and get as much to his back as possible, but he might, because he's still on his side, I'm only getting a bit of an angle. You don't want to be straight on top. You definitely don't want to be in front. You want to be an angle on his shoulder. I don't want to be looking directly in that sort of angle there, okay? I can force him to go what we call belly down, which is meaning his chest goes to the ground, by pushing into his back and pushing him to the ground until I feel like I've got a good connection on his back. Now, at the same time, this leg here is really wrapped closely to his side, okay? And that's going to be an important part in a second. So I've got the gift wrapped. I've wrapped his back up. I'm hugging him. I am now become his backpack. I do not let go. If I pull up like this, it's not going to be as effective. So from here, I'm pulling in. I've pushed him down as far as I feel I can go. My left leg is really hugging next to him. I'm going to I can either sit back pulling him, or I can use this foot here to push off, sit up, and I get into this position here. As I'm rolling, I completely roll to my back. But when I get to this point here, where I feel that there's a gap on his side, where my leg is, I kick that leg out, and I bring both legs out in front, and I roll into this position, either onto the side or into this position here. Okay, now I'm going to sit up so you can see my beautiful face. But we have just rolled into this position here. Now, this is called back control. I've taken a seatbelt grip on my partner, which means I've gone over and under. Okay, so one's underneath his armpit, one's over his shoulder, and I'm holding on to, I still haven't let go of that wrist here. Is your leg all right there, Pete, mate? Does that hurt? He's fine. So, this is the back control. Usually we're not sat up like this. We're either going to be up like this, on the side, or on the side. Okay, but for demonstration purposes, it just makes sense to be, sat up like this. So, I've got the seatbelt position. The position of the feet is very important. This, got my legs sort of hooked against his head, are oddly enough called hooks. You need both hooks in to get points in most jiu-jitsu competitions that are points-based. So if you don't do this, if you've got one leg on the outside, maybe you're hooking underneath like this, maybe you prefer what we call a body triangle, where the leg comes over and you triangle your leg over like this. It's a very tight control on his ribs. It's very uncomfortable and quite hard to escape from. But any of these positions, you don't get points from the ref. You have to get this position here. Hooks in, and I've got good, clear control of his back. Look at the ref. He gives me my points. I can then transition to whatever I need to go. I've got my points. So we're in this position. Let's just finish off with a simple choke, shall we? I'm going to take the arm that's underneath, grab his collar, open it up here, dive this arm through, thumb in to the collar, so it's across his neck, okay? Already that's a bit of a nasty, if I start squeezing, it's not pleasant, but this hand is going to go to the opposite collar on his gi, here, okay? And now all I got to do is straighten my arms out, and that's a nasty choke. If it's no gi and he hasn't got a top on at all, then what I would do is from the seatbelt position, there's a lot of hand fighting from here, but ideally what I'd want is this arm on top is the choking arm. I want that to shoot across. I've got the one arm choke, okay? If I can grab my shoulder and squeeze in, it's a slow choke. Or if this arm comes out, I grab my bicep, I snake my hand through to the back of his neck, squeeze down for the rear naked choke. Now, when I went for that rear naked choke, I said snake your arm through. If you bring your arm through like this, I'm going to grab my bicep. I'm going to go through the rear naked choke. He's watching that the whole time. And if I go like this, trying to do this, and he grabs my arm, he's arm barred me. There's a risk of submission there. So when you are going from this, you sneak the arm behind the neck and you squeeze in. Okay, let's try that one more time from the beginning, from a different angle. So I'm in mount. I'm going to go across his body, pull his shoulder, pull him up, put his chest. I'm going to, at the same time, bring my chest to his arm, push him down, grab my arm through, hugging his head, grabbing on the wrist. I've got this nice control. From here, I've got control. This arm can come out. I can then use this movement to push on his elbow, rev my arm this way, and come up on this leg into this position here. I then dive my arm underneath his arm, grab my wrist for the gift wrap position, go onto my knees, get his back, get in an angle, start pushing him forward so I got more of his back exposed. So I feel I'm found on his backpack, hugging really nice and tight. My left leg is hugging his side, so I'm going to kick that free. Foot tosses up, I sit up, kick that leg out. I've got my hooks in. I fall to the side, and then for demonstration purposes, we'll be here. Watch out for your dummy's legs, don't hurt their feelings. We fell in this position. I have, heads up, we're in this position. I've got my seat belt over and under. From here, I'm going to open up his gi, put the arm through, grab that collar. This arm comes to the opposite collar. I extend for the choke. Or if it's no gi, the arm from here shoots across, goes, I want my elbow underneath his chin. This arm's going to come free. I'm going to grab my wrist out of his view, snake it through to the back of his head, and squeeze in, and he taps. Well done, Pete. Right, so that's covering transitioning from back mount to from mount to back control, or the back mount, depending on what you like to call it. That's it for this week. Visit mavenbjj.co.uk for your jiu-jitsu needs. We should be opening up pretty soon. Come and try a live class. Contact Maven BJJ, use the website, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Have a good week, guys. Us.